What's going on, everybody? Matt here, bringing you guys a new little video here for you guys. Just doing a comparison video on a belt that I had worked on quite a while ago. This belt was given to me by a former wrestler in the area that I live in, and yeah, he wanted me to do some work to it, and eventually was just like, you know what, just keep it. It's my gift to you, so I figured I'd do a video on it. Like I said, I've had it for a while. I don't know why I've not done a video already on it. But yeah, figured what day was better than today. So what you see here is the original strap that the belt was on. I'm not 100% sure what type of material this is. I'm guessing it's supposed to be some sort of leather, but realistically it's like, I don't know, it's more of like the replica strap material. It's very stiff, very cardboard. It's in really bad shape. As you can tell, it's pretty much creased everywhere other than where the center plate was. I'm not even really sure how these creases happened because there were plates here. So yeah, then you had these eyelets that are put in. They were not put in straight. Some of them were actually closer together. As you can tell, these two are closer together than these two. And this one actually sets in just a little bit. You go over here, you see the same thing. This one's set inward, and then you have these two on the outside. And then you have two on the outside here. So, which these, of course, you can't really tell if they're out of line or not because there's just two. You had a very small 2x5 snap box for the female side over here with what looked like should have been a clip at some point, but there was nothing on it whenever I received the belt, so I'm not 100% sure. Go over to this side here. Of course, you got the 3 eyelets and the 2 here, and then of course the 2x5 male snaps, of course incredibly small. There is some tooling around the snap boxes, but again, I'm not sure what they were going for. And again, these indentions of like what should have been a clip, I don't know if both sides had a clip, if one side had a clip, or what that was really, but you can see like where there were predetermined holes that were just never punched. The edges were never cleaned up, never smoothed, so it's really rough around the edges. And then of course what's left of the back, it was painted red with what seems like acrylic paints, so they cracked and chipped really easily around the creases and stuff. I mean, it's just, this belt's in awful shape, or was. I'm not going to say is, because I did do a lot of work to it, making it as great as I could with what I had and what knowledge that I had. So yeah, you guys can just tell that this thing was just not treated very well. This is the shape that the strap is in at all times. The straps fold in and it just stays straight out like that. So that's how I received the belt. It was stuck like that, and this is like a permanent roll crease in the strap. It just does not go away. Now for the reconditioned strap, which is a single piece of real leather. It's 100%. I had to cut it myself. These plates were like going all the way back down to steel because they're just regular steel plates. They're not bronze, they're not nickel or zinc or anything like that. They're just regular steel plates you can buy at Lowe's. You got the one side plate, the other side plate, and then the main plate, of course, with the eyelets. I went with silver. I took creative control over this belt, which was obviously given to me by the owner, because there were no clear original pictures. This belt's probably about 18 years old, so there were no clear pictures on like what it should look like or how it should look or anything like that. So with that being said, yeah, I just kind of did what I felt like doing. I got a couple of chips here because this thing's just been, it's just been set up. I mean, I've not hung it up. I've not really done anything with it other than just, you know, have it as far as like, I guess for my own personal collection. Another funny story, this bird was not here. There was a bird on the original belt, but it had been knocked off and stolen. So there was just this big gap of, like you can see here where it's real smooth. That's how it was all the way along, like the shape of the bird. Like it's just one big giant smooth section on the back of the belt. So with what few pictures of the bird that I had. I took to eBay for about, I don't know, 3 or 4 hours looking at eagles and birds that you attach to your side of your house or your mailbox or whatever to look for something that remotely resembled it, and found this one for like $3, which was the exact bird that was on it to begin with. The holes and stuff lined up. I didn't have to do any different things there. I just put it back in place, put some Chicago screws here, began creating and finishing the belt that you guys see here today. Also, there were stones here and here, and basically wherever you see a Chicago screw, there were stones, because this belt was riveted to the strap. There were no screws, there were no bolts, there were no nothing. They were like the regular little like 2-cap rivets that you just hammer together. And that was what was holding these plates on, which was awful because I had to drill them out to cut them off because they'd been hammered so far down into the plates and the strap. So I just had to drill straight through them. Luckily, whatever epoxy hot glue situation they made this out of didn't come off, because obviously I had to get the plates pretty hot to drill through them. And I do know that it is sort of some epoxy, because if you do kind of warm the belt up, it gets soft and you can kind of you can't squish, flatten it out, but it does feel soft. Yeah, it feels soft to the touch. So, I don't know. There again, it's 18 years old. What can you do? But you have your regular camouflage tooling around the strap, which obviously I did. I also created the line here and rounded the edges to smooth everything out. I did the same eyelet pattern as the original strap, but straighten these up a little bit. It's kind of hard to tell because the plates where they kind of curve in, it looks crooked. These are straight with this plate to kind of create like a more symmetrical feel, and again straight through along with this plate, because this one sinks in so far it kind of actually looks like the eyelets are leaning in towards the plate, and then the two on the edge. And also hand tooled this in. I wish I would have done it a little bit differently, because these letters were just sort of drawn on free-handed. I didn't really scribe anything out or draw a grid or anything. I just drew a pattern. It looked pretty good, so I just kind of went with it. But yeah, I wish that I would have done these a little bit different, actually made them smaller, or went as far as making a fourth plate and then attaching it to this outside, which I would have probably not done as big as these letters. I'd probably try to close it in and just made it like a trademark stamp or something, and centered it with the edge of the tooling and the snap box over here, which the tooling actually goes all the way around here, all the way up and around and down and then back again, which of course this strap here was lacking any tooling whatsoever, so whatever tooling I could put on it, I put on it to make it that much better than what it was. Then you just see these little small lines here, nothing fancy, nothing crazy. A few small lines outlining the male snaps, and then of course just a regular pattern for the snap boxes. Again, nothing too crazy. The owner wanted to kind of keep things original, but he wanted like a newer feel to it. Then of course you have your female snaps over here, same snaps, or same snap box design. And of course I put a tip on it just to add to that. These are actually 2x8 on both sides, which is not normal for really any belt other than, I think, like the Attitude Era belt had 2x8 on both sides. This belt was huge, and there were no snaps to compensate for it because you only had 5 snaps, and I think I could barely get it snapped. I could fit it on my waist, but it was pretty loose, like on this snap and this snap, so these straps are really long. So I just compensated that with more snaps to kind of close this up to keep from shortening the strap and causing problems with size differences for people. Obviously, if this belt was going to be put back into use, because that's how I built it. I built it to basically be put back into use. All the two-toning was me, which is weird because it's showing up really nice on camera. I didn't think that it would. It looks really good. It looks just like this in person. You've got like a really reflective chrome silver and then a really reflective gold color that shines really well. So I'm glad that's picking up. I did a little bit of red on the eagle here. I actually did the eagles different just to kind of change up the way the plates looked. Obviously trying to hand paint these letters that were made out of glue was a little difficult, so some of them ran together. Really wasn't a whole lot I could do about that. Was just kind of doing my own thing. Same thing here. Made up letters out of glue. Was very hand painted, all of it, including the globe. CWA. I'm not even sure what CWA even means. There's nothing that I've looked at that you can find. This is the part of the strap that really, I guess, never got finished, would be the better way to describe it, because the owner never really, like, once he gave it to me, it pretty much just got left as is. I painted it red because the original plan was to put a red backing on it, which is why you see some black overlay here, because I didn't really care about that. It was going to be covered in like a red suede leather. And yeah, where he gave it to me, I just never really saw fit to finish it. I seen two pieces of leather together here, which was no big deal. Even he was like, yeah, it's literally no big deal, because there's so many screws that I put in it that it pulls together. If this were a real replica, I never would have done this. It's just sort of like a throw together piece, because I honestly figured, or what he had told me he was going to do with it was just put it up. That was like the OG plan. He said that he might bring it to the ring with him a few times, but mainly it was just going to be a wall piece that he had with some old pictures of him holding the belt. So yeah, like I said, it never got finished. Chicago screws, of course, much better than rivets putting all this stuff in. Went and got these screws custom fitted for the eagle, just to make sure that they, or no wait, with that, yeah, that's what that was. Custom screws. Chicago screws weren't long enough to fit through the plate and the bird, so I went and had these custom fitted to the round area of the Chicago screw to make sure that there were two screws that fit. And then of course you have your mel snap backing over here. Obviously, again, the red paint's kind of scruffed up and kind of, I guess, crappy. It would have really been nice to finish this, but I don't really have a desire to finish it now. The front looks really good, and I'm not really doing anything with it at the moment, so. But yeah, this was a custom project that I had to hand draw all of the lines for the strap, because this strap didn't really have any details that I could copy from. I took like a very loose trace off of the outline of the strap to create this belt, but everything was really mainly just me kind of taking control and figuring out what I want belt wise. And so yeah, really hope you guys enjoyed this kind of video. It's a little different. Like I said, this belt's been with me for a while now, so I didn't have a whole lot to go off of. I've acquired a bunch more tools now to do this leathering, the re-leathers and stuff, so a lot of these lines are just really straight lines, but I actually have shading tools and stuff to create these now, so that'll be a lot easier on me, and the final result will look a lot more TV realistic, which is what I was going for to begin with. But yeah, I just love the way this turned out for something that didn't have a plan or a design, and I just kind of sort of did whatever I wanted to do and made it work. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. It was a little bit longer of a video, but it's pretty special. It's special to me, and as far as like things I create and feedback from people. Again, I'll throw some pictures up, probably just kind of in the video somewhere, maybe just in the corners, just to show you guys progress of the plates, what they looked like. Of course, you've seen the strap firsthand, so it's pretty self-explanatory as far as what we came from to what we have now. So, and also having this nice workbench here to display long pieces like this with extra lighting helps a lot. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a like. Always subscribe for new content. I'm hoping to start making more videos more regularly. And until next time.